let's take a look at how grab responses work. What I want is for students to persevere in problem solving. So I like to use a spreadsheet per student, so they all have their own, and then they do something on the first sheet, and they do something on the second sheet, and then you do something on the third sheet. But I don't really want to click on the first sheet, click on the second sheet, click on the third sheet. So I'm going to make a responses sheet to bring all of their answers from the individual tabs into one sheet. Okay, so that's cool because I can see it all in one place without having to click on the individual tabs. But how do I see everybody's all at once so I don't have to open up every single individual spreadsheet? So that is what grab responses is going to do. So I'm going to go to alicekeeler.com/grab responses. I'm going to make a copy. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to make a spreadsheet. I'm going to do sheets.new. And this is the student activity, if I could spell it. All right, and then what I like to do is create spaces for students to fill things in. So I'm going to say name, and then I use the paint can to color it yellow. So this is kind of my signature. I put yellow response cells, boxes, all over the place, like put your answer in there. So I always use yellow. You can use obviously whatever you want. So I'm like, what's your name? What is your favorite color? Just go ahead and make this wider, and I'll make this also yellow. And down here on the sheet tab, I'm going to put name, and then I'm going to click add a sheet, and I am going to call this one numbers. So I'm just going to put some math problems in here. So my math question is 2 plus 3, 4 minus 5, 8 plus 9, 2 minus 6, 10 plus 1 minus 8, and 2 minus 7 minus 9. Okay, oops, change that one to a date. Okay, I'll just leave it anyway. And then I'm going to add another sheet, and I'm going to call it facts. And just do a couple of questions here, highlight, pull it down. Who was the first president of the U.S.? Why do we vote in November? How old do you have to be to run for president? And what state do you live in? I don't know, whatever, I got some questions. I am going to widen this up. I actually am going to click what I refer to as the awesome box, which selects all, because I like to use over here in the toolbar that I center vertically, and then that I turn on word wrapping so I get them all nice in there. I'm going to highlight these and again use yellow to say, hey, you're going to put your answer in there, and I'm going to make it wider. Okay, so then I'm going to add a sheet, and I'm going to call this one responses. Now, obviously, this whole spreadsheet that I've made with this activity is ridiculous. This is not the kind of questions or things that you would do, but I just want you to see on the first sheet, I say, what's your name? And I give them a box to put it in. And on the second sheet, I ask them some questions, and I give them a box to put it in. And on the third sheet, I ask them some questions, and I give them a box to put it in. And then I have a responses sheet. Now, the formula that you're going to use is the equal sign. Seriously, it's just the equal sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press equals right here, type in equals, and then I click on the first sheet, and they would put their name in this cell. So do you see how I just click on the yellow cell, the yellow box, and I push enter, and it's like, Alice, nothing happened. That's true. So let's go ahead and fill some stuff in, just so we can see how this would work. Uh-oh, I forgot to make these yellow. Let's make them yellow, and 5, -1, and something 2. Okay. And under facts, who is the president? Washington, I don't know. think you have to be 35, and I live in Kansas. Okay, so now I have some responses. So now you can see it says Alice, but what if my name was not Alice? What if my name was Nancy? That's my sister. Then you can see that it updates here on the responses tab. So I'm going to click equals. I'm going to click back here so I can click on that yellow cell. So I just do equals, I click on the tab, and I click on the yellow cell, and I push enter, and it's going to bring that answer in there. I'm going to put equals, and I'm going to click on the yellow cell and push enter. Actually, I'm going to cheat because I can just pull it down. I put equals and click on the facts tab. So now I'm on the third tab, and I just click on the yellow cell. So equals facts E5. Whatever's in E5, put it on the responses sheet. Equals, click on facts. Now I'm on E6, and I'm just going to pull this down. And so now I have a responses tab. And actually what I will do is I'm going to use this little tiny triangle to hide the sheet. Okay, so now that I've hidden that sheet, because I don't want them to put their answers on the responses sheet, I want them to put their answers in the yellow boxes. I'm going to go ahead and delete all my temporary responses so that it's ready for students to fill that out. And then over here in copy of grab student responses, it says the tab name with the student name. So the tab name is, and I usually name it name. I make my first tab, what's your name? I'm pretty classic for that. So it is, the tab name is name. The cell with the student name. Okay, so this is D5, D5. So I'm going to put the student's cell here. I'm going to find that in D5. And what is the tab name with the responses? The tab name with the responses, remember I hid it. So I'm going to go to view, I'm going to go to hidden sheets, and I had named it responses with a capital R. So I'm going to put that on there, responses with a capital R. Now it says Google Drive folder URL. What this assumes is that I'm going to take this student activity and I'm going to get one per student, and that I have all of those spreadsheets in a folder in Google Drive. Now, if you use Google Classroom, that is what Google Classroom does. So you'll see here I am in Google Classroom. I have an assignment. I'm going to click on that assignment. I'm going to view the assignment. And I want to click here on the folder icon, and that opens up the folder with the responses in Google Drive. So I am going to copy this link up here at the top. I'm going to copy that link, and then on my grab student responses, it says Google Drive folder URL, I'm going to put the link to that folder. Okay, so I have the name of the tab where I would find the student's name. This is the cell their name is in. This is the sheet that has a responses sheet. I'm going to pull this sheet from every student's workbook. And then this is the link to Google Drive. So I'm going to go on to the add-ons, and I'm going to use grab responses and authorize the add-on. After you authorize the add-on, go back to add-ons, go to grab responses, and choose set up. And I've done that. So now it's set up. What it did, you'll see turn these green. It has saved those values. It's going to remember them. So it's taken those in, and then I go to add-ons and I grab responses, and I'm going to go ahead and grab responses. Do I want to pull responses to this spreadsheet? Yes. If you say no, what it's going to do is create a new spreadsheet and put the responses over there. So let's go ahead and we're going to say yes, I want to put it on this spreadsheet. And you can see what it's going to do is it is making a sheet for each student. Now, why are these have numbers and not is because I am doing a demonstration, and what it is doing is, remember we said that their name is in D5, and whatever's in D5 is going to take that and make it the tab name. I didn't fill out everybody's in the folder. So while I didn't fill out everybody's, I did some of them. So you see I have one for Mandy. Mandy had filled in her name and that her favorite color was lime green. And Paula had said that her name was Paula in yellow, and I didn't fill out the rest of them, but you can see that I have a tab for every student's spreadsheet in the folder, and I can see all of their responses in one place.